Hello and welcome to the PM show. Here we are with you on Wednesday, the 16th of December, 2020. After another balmy week. Are we doing all right today, Matt?
Yes. Where's this year gone?
I tell you what, considering it's been terrible, let's face it, there's no other way of putting it. It's been absolutely awful this year. I've flown by. Considering I know in a lot of ways we haven't done anything because we haven't been able to do the shows as normal and we haven't been able to get together and all these different things that we take for granted, I suppose. But this year has definitely gone the quickest, I think, ever. From a work point of view, and everything that goes along with it, it seems to be that because I think you can't do social things, you just throw yourself into the work, isn't it? So, and that's what we've been doing.
And we were just saying before coming on here, we've been quite lucky with it really as well, because obviously there is people out there who've lost their jobs because of this, and and other things have happened, and we've kept going and carried on, sort of thing. So I was just saying, I'm actually thankful that we have. I think I'd have just gone stir crazy if I'd been anything to do. So
yes.
But it's just been odd, isn't it? I mean, like, we are coming to the end of this year, and let's hope next year's a lot better, eh? That's all
again. It can't get much worse. Although you didn't say that, because the funny thing wasn't it, is that everyone used to say about, God, I hope there's something to talk about more than Brexit, and then this came along. So it's a case of like, Jesus, what could go worse? Can't get any worse. Don't say that.
Yeah,
because something just might. It's one of those things you just never know.
We'll keep quiet.
Yes, definitely. Anyway, lots of things have been happening, certainly around the interweb at the moment. A lot of obviously to do with Brexit, as we've seen. Airfix made an announcement yesterday saying that they have suspended all European orders until they find out exactly what's going on. Oh. Helicopter going to get buzzed by something big. I think it's a Merlin.
It's a Merlin. Is one flying?
Hold on.
Is it fixed? Hang on.
It's literally going that way, I think. Yes, he is. So obviously with Brexit that's just about to be opposed upon us, as we sit and do this on the 16th at midday, there is no deal as of yet, so we still don't quite know what's going on. And this is the big thing. I think obviously a lot of European people who probably watch this as well, you're getting your side of the news, we're getting ours, and the big thing is no one knows. That's it. We're not sure how it's going to go, how it's even going to work yet. We've obviously got all things in place to carry on, obviously, in the new year and go through. But it seems that there's a few companies, because obviously Hannon's another big one, that they've said they're suspending all trade from the 27th until the 4th. So they get a bit of time as well, I think, to work out what's going on and how it's going to work. Because obviously there'll be no VAT charged, but then there may be, because you might have to charge it this end. It all gets very, very confusing.
I think reading their blurb that they put up, what's happening is they're going to take the VAT off, but whoever it gets sent to has to pay the VAT. I think we've been through this with Leslie when she's been through it. You can either pay it into one central hub and then they dispatch it to whoever needs it, or you take it off and then obviously the customer at the other end has to go and then pay the VAT on it.
Yes.
Which I don't know which way is going to work best or easier, to be honest, but whichever way you round it, the VAT's got to be paid in whichever country it's in.
Yes.
That is going to happen, whatever. So whether we deduct it and they pay it, or like I say, it gets paid into whichever EU country you decide you nominate, kind of thing, and then they disperse it accordingly to whoever needs it. So again, I know, like, obviously, Leslie's been on courses, being an accountant, of, what we can do, what we can't do, but even they're in the dark, to be honest. When she's doing these courses, she's just like, we need some definite sort of...
Some clarity would be nice, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, because, like I say, there's going to be a lot of companies like ourselves who don't know what they're doing or don't know, how to go about it at the minute, because there's no firm answers to say, right, this is definitely going to happen, or there might be a deal, there might not be a deal, or I don't know. It's all a bit sort of up in the air still, isn't it? But it's getting a bit late in the day now to...
Yes, here we are, technically just 2 weeks away, and no one still knows. It just makes things incredibly difficult.
You do wonder if they'll just do another extension.
Gosh.
Push comes to shove, at the whenever it is, the 30th of December or whenever it is, and go, you'll have another 6-month extension till we sort this out.
Yeah.
Because it's got to be messy for, obviously, the EU as well as us.
Absolutely.
It's going to work both ways, isn't it? And, there's obviously sticking points, but that's up to them to sort or not.
No, this is it. It's just from a small business point of view, or a medium-sized business as we are now, it's really, really annoying because we just don't know what's happening yet. So we're just sort of keeping our head down. Luckily for us, as you probably know, Matt's other half is a chartered accountant. So she's got the finger on the pulse with it all. And obviously she does all the paperworky side for us. So it's ideal. But again, I can imagine for a lot of companies who don't have that information readily available and stuff like that, it can be a little bit of a nightmare. So
it's proper stressful, I presume, for them, because obviously on top of that, obviously you've got the COVID thing still going on, the pandemic, and you know, it's like we would just say, it's like a bit of a perfect storm at the minute for us in this country. I'm not saying, you know, with the Brexit thing and that. I mean, like I say, we're really lucky because literally just out there is Leslie, and I can go and say, help.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you know about this or whatever? And luckily, like I say, I've got somebody on hand, but if you've got to get in touch with a normal accountant, shall we say? Yes. Good luck.
Yes, that's it. I know that one well.
Especially anyway. As well, before I finish on this, obviously with January coming up, which is their busiest time, it's all the tax return stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it's ramping up for Leslie now with people getting them in and everything. So, it's going to be a bit full on, I would have thought.
It is. From our point of view, obviously with our PM models, we are going to be open right the way through. Obviously, we are stopping for Christmas and various things, but as we'll talk about, we've got an auction in between Christmas and New Year and various things with you. Matt's like me, and obviously Andy will be there as well. Then it'll be back to work as soon as we can, sorting it out and processing orders. But like we always say with all of these things, is that once it leaves the store, it's in the lap of the courier gods and could be customs duty gods and things like that now. So if you are ordering from abroad, if you can sort of bear with us, because there is going to be teething problems, as we know. There's going to be things stuck in the system whilst they try and work it all out and all the rest of it. So like we've been saying for the last few weeks, if you are thinking about ordering, you are from the EU and all the rest of it, probably better to do it now than wait till the new year when they try and work it all out still, or trying to get their head around how it's working and stuff like that. So if you are in something for a hurry, bits and pieces, stuff like that, as we all have, grab it now. You know, it's a simple way.
Yeah. Just an update on postage, by the way. Obviously, everything up to my orders pretty much is out or will be out today. The pre-order stuff, everybody who's paid has gone, which went last week. Obviously, I've had a few messages saying, I've not had a dispatch notice and, you know, about the pre-orders and stuff. Well, obviously, that's invoiced through PayPal and not through the site. So it's physically, manually, you know, I get sent, Andy does the addresses, he sends them to me, I tick through it and get it all sent off. They are fully tracked and everything as normal, but obviously there's no dispatch. And because I had 4 big ones come in, I haven't even had time to sit down and just even do an email. Now, obviously, next year with Andy on board, that's all going to change, and we're going to have a look into the system, see if there's a way of doing it. Yeah. So there is some sort of dispatch, or if me or Andy's physically got to
input the tracking,
input it, and write you an email, and this is your tracking, then that's what's going to happen. Obviously, me being on my own, it's been a bit chaotic because normally, obviously, we do this kind of staggered, but I had 4 big ones come in end of last week, or week before really, and then to be done last week and processed. So it's but they're all in the system. When you get them again, I went to the post office last night, dropped a load off, talking to the 2 ladies who was in the post office, and they said the Sheffield, like you've said yesterday, didn't you, on your show, the Sheffield branch or hub, they just closed it and stopped the HGVs going in and dumping, you know,
more parcels
tipping their load on top of. So there's going to be massive delays. And talking to John last night, and he was on Skype and saying, you know, how busy he is, and obviously he's down in Somerset, Taunton way, and again they're overrun. With just parcels, packages and stuff. So, you know, I don't even think it matters now if we send it first class, second class. It just goes into a pile and you get it when you get it. So just for you who, like I say, who I'm posting this week, you might get it before Christmas. You might get it after Christmas. So hopefully you're not thinking, I need this before Christmas, because there's just no guarantee. Absolutely no guarantee now through the post office of when you're going to get it. I would probably say your cut-off was Monday. If I'm honest. If you're ordering after it, it'll turn up when it does. So I mean, what we're away, week away from Christmas, are we?
Yeah,
Just
really.
about. So, you know, normally you have a bit of grace, but I just wouldn't risk it.
No.
Or just bear in mind that obviously, depending on which part of the country and how busy they are, you might get it or you might not. Again, the other thing is if you look on your tracking, and I've done it through the post office, I just reiterate this because I've said it before, but it'll just say it's at Woodlands Post Office, which it isn't. It's in the system, and you won't get an update until they try to deliver it.
Yeah.
I think if you read the blurb, it does say.
Yeah.
They just don't update it until they try to deliver it, and then they'll say, you know, you've either received it or they'll leave you a note or whatever. So, yeah.
Yes.
So,
cool. So the other, obviously, the thing, if you've probably seen on my side of things with the Flory Model site, obviously shipping to Israel, it was taken a little bit out of context. Hopefully we've put this all to bed now and sorted out. But as I say, from January the 1st, Flory Models is not going to be shipping internationally at all. Okay, so PM Models is going to take all of that side on. Okay, so you'll be able to get it from Brett at High Altitude Hobbies if you're in the US or Canada. So it's ideal because it'll be cheaper and it's going to be a lot quicker because obviously it's in the country. And then obviously Matt and Andy up at the PM stores, they're going to be doing all the European stuff as well as the UK as well. And you can do it that way. Okay, I'll still be doing some UK stuff down in here for the next couple of months till we get everything properly ironed out and sorted. And then eventually within the spring, PM's going to be handling everything. Okay, so that's the thing with that one. So at the moment, we're sort of, as I say, it's a transition period with everything. We're trying to sort of do it a little bit slowly, but we're obviously with Brexit and everything else like that as well, it's a bit of a nightmare. So it's still all up in the air with everything that goes along that side. So you still be able to get everything then direct out of one place, which would be PM store. So if you want to order, you know, obviously your sanders and your washes and stuff like that, you can also put with it your paints and your kits and everything all in one. Because I know a lot of people say, or have thought in the past that we're in the same building, but you know, we might only be this far apart here, but actually we're almost 300 miles apart. Matt's obviously up in the Midlands and I'm down here in the Southwest. So a lot of people say, oh, can you pop in? And it's like, not quite, because I've got to get it from Matt, you know, it's a 600-mile round trip. So hopefully that'll make things a lot easier, a lot more streamlined for next year as well, from that side of things as well. So you'll be able to get everything just out of the PM store. I know Matt's coming on, Matt and Andy are planning on, and obviously with me as well, we're going to revamp the store a little bit, get the categories all laid out a little bit nicer to find stuff. As I say, the tool section needs to be sorted out and various things and bits and pieces in there as well. As we spoke about before, we are bringing in new lines, fingers crossed and everything, in next year as well. So again, it'll just be one of those things that's going to get bigger and bigger and more things in there. So hopefully we'll become your one-stop shop for pretty much everything. That's the plan, really.
Isn't it? Yeah. I mean, we can't obviously stock everything. We'd like to.
We'd love to.
Physically can't. We can't physically do that. But you know, we've got ideas of where we'd like to go and push forward again next year. And obviously, with Andy being on board, that releases me up a little bit as well. Yep. Especially from doing the side of it I'm not great at, if I'm honest, which is obviously running the site. Yep. Again, because Andy's just going to go through it, and we're going to go through it and revamp it and make it easier to navigate again. And there's probably a lot of things like we've discussed on the Squarespace site that we use that we're not tapped into. Yeah. So somebody else, and then obviously there's the video side of things, which I would, you know, I'm itching to get going. It's just time, and obviously then I've got somebody on board who knows how to edit as well, so that'll help. Yeah, make me look a bit good. But obviously with the MRAP that you can see there, that's coming up, and the plan is I'm doing a base for it and some figures, and that's obviously going to be a video. Yeah. So as soon as I get it, I can plan that, and we'll go through and do a video. But yeah, I know, keep promising and promising. It's just honestly, the time is just, it just goes, and then, you know, it's, as Phil knows, he'll tell you how long it actually takes to do one. It's not just, oh, sit down, switch the camera on, do half an hour, and then that's it. It doesn't. If only, mate. Yeah. If only it worked like that's that. Great, wouldn't it?
I always say, even, you know, my average, and I think I'm quite good at it now with editing and all the bits and pieces goes with it, but for every hour of footage you do, it takes 3 hours.
Yeah.
So if you do an hour, that's 3 hours, because then it'll be an hour and a half worth of editing, and then you've got to do the render for it and uploading various things that go with it, and then obviously thumbnails, all the bits and pieces. So you say for every hour you sit there, it's actually 3 hours off camera. Yeah. So technically it's a 4 hour cycle to do 1 hour. So and it does eat into your day quite a lot. So even if you're doing a review, a half-hour review, you know, technically it's 3 hours. So yeah.
I think that's the side of it. I don't think people realise. I didn't realise till obviously I got to know you, and you were saying, "Oh, just a video, switch your camera on. You know, happy days, carry on." Nah, it's a lot more involved. And anybody who does YouTube stuff, kudos to them, because like I say, now I know how it actually works. It's I mean, just doing it. I mean, we were thinking last night with Nathan, weren't we?
Yeah.
Or you
yeah.
put it up. Nathan's Pembroke video that's coming soon.
Yeah, it's going to take 14 hours to render.
I mean, that's obviously his system and stuff that's taking, but yeah, it was, what was it, 17 hours, was it?
17 hours in total to render, so he said it should be ready by 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah. But again, you know, you've got to have obviously the technology and the software to be able to do it quicker and everything, aren't you? So again, anybody who does YouTube vids, then good on you.
It is, definitely. Right, shall we have a look around the store and see what's new this week?
Yes.
So down here, our new arrivals, we've got a couple of things from Spitfires. Yes. Here it is. So this is the Mark 5C.
It is. This is the new tooled one as well, isn't it, in 72nd?
It is. Only £8.50.
I tell you, cheap as chips, aren't they? Proper pocket money. There you go. Put it that way around. So yeah, nice box art. Usual rear fix, isn't it? Another good box art for it, and probably cracking little kit, to be honest. So this is the Trop one, I presume, is it? Because it's got the filter. Filter.
You got the bigger scoop on
Which
the front.
Actually, you know, people don't like. I quite actually like a Spitfire with the Trop filter. Some people just go, oh, it ruins the lines, and I don't know. I quite like it, but I like the Azure blue with the
the stone effect,
stone and dark earth camo. I just think that's the best camo scheme ever for RAF, and you know, for the desert scheme. So we've got those in. We've also got the new tooled Firefly.
Very nice.
Which I'm really looking forward to looking at this. Potentially building it. So excuse me, can you edit that out? Cool.
All right.
Sneeze. Again, and in 1/72 and not 76, which is nice to see. I think they've kicked on now that, you know, 76 is a bit old school. Yeah, to say the least. So at least they've done it in 72nd. So that's going to be worth looking at.
Yes,
that's
definitely.
Really, really nice. And the last one is, it's been out before, but they've reboxed it. New box art is the Bowfighter, which again is a cracking kit.
Yeah.
So for anybody who's entering our high seas, or seasick, as we now call it, C6 SIG.
The C6, the C6 SIG. That's the one.
So I think that'll probably count, I would say. Would you?
Well, yeah, it's maritime attack. So,
So it's at Cornwall.
Yes.
And what in Lisbon, Portugal.
There you go.
Oh,
so you can do it for your Australian one as well, your Anzac one.
Yeah, Whispering Death, what they called, or something by the Japanese, was it?
Yeah.
Because they were so quiet. So that's it. And I think everything else we've seen, we did the Panzer IV, which is the new Tamiya release, is in as well. So this is the F, which again is Tamiya. It's does what it says on the tin, really. Not much to say about it, is there, to be honest?
Typical Tamiya. Yeah.
I tell you what, I've got to say, just take thingy aside, the figures are stunning.
Yeah.
Tamiya figures are just brilliant. They used to be a bit soft and a bit sort of not very good.
Yeah.
They've really upped the game with the figures. So, and we did have a Space 1999 Eagle in, but that one's gone. We could probably get some more of them, actually, because I know Gary's got some in stock. Because we was talking about MPC and Polar Lights.
That's right. We talked about it last week, yeah.
And I know one of the members, I can't think of his name, was asking about the new Star Trek thing. Well, the chances are we will be getting it.
Yes.
I've got to pass the number on to Gary at Pied Tiger, and he'll look into it. But he does get stuff in like that. So he has got Star Trek and, as you can see, Space 1999 and stuff. So yeah, we'll probably be able to get it up as a pre-order if anybody is interested.
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
So it's not the type of thing we normally carry, especially some of it, because they're very expensive. But as I say, it was quite nice because, as I say, you spoke to Gary about it after the show, and he was like, I can get it. So he's like, right, okay, well, so before we were like, well, it's very difficult. It turns out it's not, so we can. So if you've got anything specific, give us the number, part number. We can get a price for you, and we can get it on.
Yeah, we can always ask him, and if he's getting in there, because I don't know, I don't think he obviously brings the full range. He really has got access to it, so we'll just, you can choose the message. I know he has got the big Star Trek Enterprises in the refit, and the other one, the big, bloody flying saucer thing on top in it.
Yes.
Which we have had in before, and I think we had the Klingon
Yeah, we had the
battle
Klingon Bird of Prey,
or
wasn't it? I did the review on it. That's monster kit, yeah.
But he has also got in some of the smaller stuff as well. So if we haven't got it, go over to Tiger Hobbies because he does carry stuff. So
yes,
you know. So yeah, so if you want to just move over to the specials board.
Over to the specials board, I can do that. Hold on, with the power of specials.
So there we go. There's the big one. Look, the 48 Space 1999, which we've got on offer.
It is. It's a absolute freaking monster. It's huge, that one.
And that's with the lab pod because that's a different version to the one we had before.
Yes,
which
that's
I think
it.
was
I was
just
going to
a
say.
transport pod. I don't know much about Space 1999. I've never watched it, but I presume it's got a different because it just detached, don't they? On
it's the centre section. Yeah.
But that's going to be a big lump in 48 scale.
Yes, huge.
Lysanders are back in and put them on specials. Look, so the Edard Lysanders, we've got some more in.
Yeah.
If anybody, and then we've had some more of the slightly damaged boxes invading Hobbyco.
It sounds like it's a con, doesn't it? It's a slightly damaged box, honest. It fell off the back of a lorry.
Yeah. Some are, like I've said before, some are worse than others. Some are damaged in the corners. They've either been bashed or dropped. Some of them I'm like, why is that there? But you know, we have to mark it as slightly damaged because that's how we've received it. So obviously you get a discount accordingly, and that one's a bit of a bargain, to be honest. I mean, you've built a different version of that, but it's the same.
Yeah. I have to say, if you're into Top Gun, obviously it's the K version, which Tom Cruise owns.
Oh, is it? Does he own a K, does there? So that's
so a lot of companies are putting out it's the Top Gun Mustang, and it's a D. It's not. It's a K.
Yeah.
His own personal one. It's the one that's in the film. Is the K, the one he owns. So yes.
Well, that's it. We've only got one of those. A lot of them there's like either ones or twos. Obviously, the Corsair with the towing tractor.
Yes.
Is a nice kit, and then we've still got some other specials up, as you can see, with Edard stuff and that. And then if you scroll down a bit, there's a Tiger Tank and Challies and Shermans and and then the Reichstag.
Which we spoke about this, didn't we? We actually had a good look at this, and it's actually very nice.
It's blooming heavy because it's all MDF, isn't it? So, I thought we thought it was all vac form.
I thought it was all vac form, to be honest. I didn't realise it was what it was. It's solid, so it's MDF and everything in there.
I'll tell you what, as well. I know we do say it, but that's going to be one of them. Like they did. What did they do the other one as well? They've done another one, haven't they? The bridge, Pegasus Bridge.
Pegasus Bridge, yeah.
Again, Italy are one of them. They'll do a run, they'll do a few whatever, and then it'll disappear. And it'll be one of them that it'll be a collector's item because it'll be like the old Esky sort of little diorama sets. They've gone down that route. You remember from the 80s where you used to get your back form base and your tanks and your figures and stuff.
Was it. Yeah.
God, they fetch horrendous money now if you can find them in one piece. Even when they're not in one piece, if they're part built or bits missing, because of what it is, they fetch silly money. So, but it's you get a lot for your money, to be honest. Like I say, it's a proper full-on building as well.
It is. It's the full building. It's not like just the front either, as we've said. It's actually the entire building. So I thought it was just going to be the face. Yeah, I did. But it's not. It's actually the whole building. So it's like, okay. And
then obviously there's a couple of Porsches there, a Skyline again, a Hayabusa.
Yes.
Suzuki. So and once they've gone again, they've gone. So I'm actually seeing the Tamiya rep tomorrow because I know last Thursday wasn't it about the F-15s. I have asked about the F-15s and what's happening with them. His boss is actually not in, but he's coming here tomorrow because I need to speak to him, and I'm going to pin him down and see what sort of answer. So tomorrow night when I'm on, hopefully I can't promise, but I might have a definitive answer of what's happening with them F-15s. I know, like I said, they've got containers actually stuck in Folkestone.
Right.
Because I did get an email through to say they were supposed to have so many containers come in, but some of them are delayed. And somebody else has put up as well. Another company we deal with is saying they've got one stuck in Folkestone or moved to Rotterdam because we've been moving them to Rotterdam and bringing them over. But that's just how it is at the minute. But yeah, with the specials and the damaged boxes, say once they've gone, they've gone. And if I can get them, I'll keep ringing. And if they're in there in the cages, and I'll ask and see what they've got.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah.
Cool.
Nice stuff, though.
It is very, very good stuff. Speaking of which, obviously we've got the pre-orders as well that are currently running. Some of these are going to be ending imminently, aren't they?
Imminently, yeah.
Imminently.
So, as far as I know, the SU-57 is supposed to be doing or around soon. Now, obviously, I don't know with delays and how long that's going to take. I've got a feeling it'll probably be January, but
right.
As far as I know, I think it is out or going to be out. So we'll leave that running for a little bit longer, but we'll end up closing that. The one next to it, the Kitty Hawk, they're coming in. They're on the way.
Yes.
So Andy will be, as soon as they've landed, whoever's got on the pre-order, Andy will be invoicing, but we're going to keep that one open because we have got a source. And then obviously I think we'll touch on this, but there is a question about it, which
we'll cover
about
in a
the
minute.
other version, so we'll mention that. The MP4 we'll leave running for a bit longer, as with the Senna, because they're not long. Right, the B17, we are going to close tomorrow night.
Yes. So this is the F version of the B17 148 scale. So yes.
So that is definitely going to be closed tomorrow night. So if you want one, get your name in there, get in there, and then that'll be shut, and then I can pre-order how many we need. Probably leave the Tiger Moth for a little bit longer. The Buccaneers, I think we've closed anyway.
That's closed now. Yeah, we just need to move that. Yeah.
Again, I think like the Airfix and
View
stuff.
Fort as well, because obviously the ring.
Yeah, Beaufort's closed because I think probably due out. You see, like I said, there has been a delay for like we mentioned last week on the Great Wall Lobby shipment because of an admin error from them.
Yeah,
that's going to be definitely roll into next year. And then I think we'll be closing as well the Cromwells as well.
Yes,
soon. So we'll probably before Christmas, probably sometime next week, beginning next week, they'll be closed down. And then I'll speak to Andy, and then we'll push on what we're going to put for pre-order for next year.
Yeah, we'll go through the pre-orders, and obviously the Zucamori one is in, so that's ended as well now because I've got the review coming up for you for that for tomorrow. I've done it, I just haven't edited it yet, so I'll get the editing done for that one tomorrow, so that'll be up with you as well.
Just while you're thinking that, because obviously you've got the Lancaster front end and the F4E, we have still got some outstanding invoices for these items where Andy sent them out to you. So I think what's going to happen is Andy's going to send you a message, I think, to say, do you want it or do you not want it or whatever, so we know where we stand so we can get it up for general sale. I think that's the plan. So be prepared to get a message from him probably tomorrow, and then just let us know what's happening really, so we know when we can sell them basically.
Yeah, that's it. Again, if like we said before, we appreciate that sometimes some of the, especially this year, obviously with COVID, that some of the orders have taken longer than we would have ever thought come through because things have just been non-existent or they've changed release dates and various things like that. So when we put these up, we've got a rough idea when they're coming in, but that obviously changes and slips. But if you don't want it anymore and all the rest of it, like we said, we'd rather you just fess up and say, look, no, so we can then obviously adjust our levels as well. Don't let us get them in and invoice you, then turn around and say no. Do it beforehand, it's not so much of a problem, but obviously you are committing to it. We don't take deposits or anything else like that. It's always done on goodwill, but we have had a few people now that just go quiet on us and we don't know, and that's the thing, because obviously we don't want to sell your kit, but on the other hand we need to sell it. Can't just keep it sat in the warehouse waiting for one day you might want it again. So that's the whole point, so as horrible as it sounds, it's, we give a discount on these for a reason. So we come in, we can get them straight out to you, and obviously it puts the money back in the bank and we can do this again, and it's that rolling on thing. But if we get people who like literally just go quiet on us and we send an invoice, you send a reminder, get nothing, it's at the point where we turn around and say, well look, we'll put it out for sale on the site. If we got things like, we might have people waiting for them as well. So, just be a little bit honest. But if you do get to a situation where you've put in for a pre-order and something changes in your life, let's face it, there's a lot going on at the moment with obviously people losing their jobs and that, just shoots a message and say, look, can you cancel it for me? I can't do it anymore. Then that way we can either adjust our levels that we're bringing in, or as I say, we can offer it to other people and various things like that.
It's just being fair to us really, isn't it? Like say you might think, oh, it's only me, so it doesn't really matter, it's one kit, but if you get a few of you doing it, it's a lot of money then that can be tied up where we don't know. We
just don't know what to do with it. They sit in the warehouse and it's like, we can't sell it. She might turn around and say, oh, I've been ill or I've had no internet, or
exactly,
for whatever reasons. And let's face it, there's lots of reasons at the moment why might not be answering your emails or getting in touch or anything else like that. So as you say, if you do know, just let us know and we can deal with it appropriately.
Yes.
So yes.
Cool. So what was your verdict? I know you've reviewed them, but why they're there?
To be honest, the nose art one, obviously I've seen the review that I think Chris did of this one anyway. Put up. Obviously I've done my version of it now as well, so I knew what was in this and what to expect with the nose art of the Lancaster. But I have to say, seeing it in your own hands, the clarity that they've done with that fuselage half is absolutely phenomenal. It is absolutely crystal clear. That's the thing to it. My bugbear has always been because, Tamiya, I think, is the biggest one. Sometimes they'll give you a clear half, and it's not clear. It's almost frosty because they're using the same mold as what they use for the normal one. So it's got that texture. They don't polish it like they do with clear parts. And obviously the other thing as well is when they do that, you got the internal framework in there, which you normally wouldn't see, and you can't paint it either, and it just doesn't work. What's the nice thing with this one is they've used another fuselage half that's just totally clear. Now, I still don't think it's the perfect world because you've got like the engineer's flight deck goes against it. So what are you going to do with the back of that? There's part of me that actually would say don't have the half on and just have it coming out, and you could actually hang the wires out the back of it. You could actually do some wiring looms and you could make it very interesting. I think there's lots of options you could do with it, and I've never been a fan of this clear part thing.
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of it either.
But honestly, it is pretty much everything you'd hope for. But like I said in the review, obviously, I won't go right the way through it, but HK have been gazumped many, many times. So the Mosquito, and then Tamiya brought one out. Can you imagine it? That's like us trying to invent a kit and then Tamiya releasing it the week later. You'd be distraught that all your time and effort, and you've been gazumped by a AAA company. So obviously it happened to them. Then they did their Lancaster, then Wingnut Wings did theirs.
Yeah.
So I actually see this one as a bit of a bollocks to you because we're going to nick your idea now, and they're doing the nose section, and I think that's absolutely admirable of HK to do that, because obviously they've used now Wingnut Wings' idea of doing the front section, and I think it's great because let's face it, this would easily be the biggest model I've ever built in here, because I've got 72nd and 48 scale stuff, but not Lancaster size. In 32nd, that's just monster. But if you wanted to do that front end, and as I said, you got most of the workings are in that section, it is quite nice, and you could have a few different ones in different markings and things like that. I think it's actually a really nice option.
It is, and it's a nice sized little box. I didn't expect it to be that small, but obviously it's compact, isn't it? Obviously, it's got the front end,
it's all in there.
It works, and it's not massive postage cost. It's just a normal, size postage, and it's. I wonder if they'll follow it on and we'll do the front end of the B17 separate, because to me that'd work fantastic as well. You've got, and I think we mentioned it a few shows ago, but they do the B17s. You've got all the nose arts. You could just, you could just have rows of them with fantastic nose arts on them. It'd be brilliant from the G's to the F's or whatever.
Absolutely, and then they could do a nice little B24.
Yeah. They could.
And the B25, because they've done the B25 anyway, the Mitchell. So it could be a very nice little option. And we often talk about in the Far East, especially I've spoken to people who have meetings with companies out there that in the Far East, like Japan and things like that, the Japanese homes are quite small. So they don't have room to display big models. So they like to do the smaller stuff, and it's compact and things like that. And that could be a ready-made market for them, because they're nice little things. They don't take up a ton of room. I was even thinking about it because I've got one up there. I think that fits very nicely in the little display cases for motorbikes.
Yeah.
So if you wanted a case for it, I think it fits actually in the motorbike ones very nicely and things. So I think it's actually a bit of a winner. No problem at all. And the nice thing with that kit as well, when we looked at the Wingnut Wings kit, and obviously spoke to Wingnut Wings at the shows and things about it, it looked like the part count in that alone was going to be quite heavy. That isn't that bad. There's not a million, it's not like you've got billions of parts making up tiny things. They're quite nice, they're good, solid. And what it is a really nice platform, I think, for obviously the aftermarket photo etchings like that. If you wanted to go down that route, a little bit of scratch building, making your own wiring and things like that up. It's one of those kits that is a great starting point. It's detailed enough as it is. If you wanted to, you could really hyper detail it right the way through.
Well, did we have an idea of actually lighting it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you could put in a couple of lights in there.
In it, or what, however many you can see.
Yeah.
And then you was going to do like a light, red light on it for.
Yeah.
I
think a couple of lights in there, as to say, because when you look through, you can actually see a lot of working. You can look through the back as well. You see, quite a bit of workings in there and everything else. It'd be quite nice and quite atmospheric, I think. Say a couple of figures in there as well.
Yeah,
I think it'd look absolutely fantastic.
It would look a great little scene, to be honest, wouldn't it? I mean, are you tempted to build it?
I am, yeah, absolutely. It's one of those ones where you're not having it back.
All right, fair enough. I didn't think I was anyway. I've written that one off, to be honest, but yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those kits where actually I can see myself building it. It's one of those ones where you've got all of that nice detail and everything else. It's quite a compact model to work on, so it's not like the full size thing would be, where you've got like bloody great wings and you're trying to paint it and you need arms like Popeye, and it's not. It's nice. It's just in there. It's almost helicopter size. So you've got the same sort of details in there, but it's big enough to be able to do things to it if you wanted to, like you say, sticking lights into it, a couple of little simple little LED for red lights in there, I think, and you have that sort of night image to it as well. I think that looked really nice.
It would, yeah. Like I say, I think it's a perfect kit, to be honest. Like I say, that I think the full kit's too big, it's too much.
Yeah.
But they're ideal, and again, I think if they follow that on with the B17, B25, or wherever else they go down the line, I think they're going to have a nice little market for themselves where people will buy them, because you've not got to have that massive space to have them. And like I say, with especially B17s, B25s and stuff, you've got the nice bit of the front end, which is all the good bit of the nose arts,
absolutely,
like I said before, and the cockpit and the front turret, or the chin turret, or wherever you want to go with it. I mean, if they extended it a bit, you could probably just about get the thingy turret, couldn't you? On a B17.
On a B17, yeah. Well, if you say it's difficult on the B17, if you took it probably into the wing route a little bit, then yeah, you could take off and have the top turret as well, which probably be a natural brake line for it as well, because that's what they've done in here. It goes just into the wing route, so actually it's not. Yeah, you could probably do it. Taking it to that next panel, it would work on the B17. Straightforward. Yeah.
I don't know. Perhaps they're listening. Perhaps they watch this. You never know.
You never know. So we'll claim that if they do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, say the thing is, like, obviously they've just released in the F, types and stuff like that as well for the B17. So you've got the nice family. They've got it all there. So
that's it. Well, they've obviously done it with that, and it's all there. So all they had to do is break it down and just, make it more compact.
My only, and I say it's not a bugbear, but my only point is that the bomb bay, which obviously is all in there and everything else like that, is fantastic, but there's nothing in it. So there's all the ejector pin marks in the racking, where if you have bombs in it, they're hidden, but you don't get anything. So consequently, so you don't get doors and all the rest of it. So once it's in there, it's like open. The whole point is it's not shown, but up underneath there, it's just literally the flat panel. So it's this sort of shape here. But if you were to look underneath, you'll see all the ejector pins, which I know is really, really sort of anal, because you're never going to see it because it's on a dolly. So unless you're going to pick it up and go, oh, look at all those ejector pins in there. But it's one of those ones where it needs something in there just to get rid of it. But again, it's one of those, like we often discuss about having detailed wheel wells, which is great for when are you ever going to see it?
No,
it
is though, isn't it? It is. Yeah, it's nice. It's a nice thought and a nice thing, but it's like I say, you don't see them, do you? Unless,
no, you don't see it at all.
You don't go around. People go around model shows picking kits up to look at the wheel wells, do they, and putting them down. So.
But definitely. I think if you are, any type of modeler and you're into your bombers and stuff like that, that is on my highly recommended. Again, it would have been, I think, nice to see the Wing That Wings one, because it has the stress skin and it looked a little bit more realistic, shall we say, a little bit more weathered, perhaps was the right word for it, where this one doesn't have the stress skin and all the rest of it. And if you've ever been up to a Lancaster, they're like B-52s, they are ripply as hell. So it is lacking in that one. It's not a ton of detail through it, but again, it's a price break. I think that's going to be was a hell of a lot cheaper than I think what obviously HK Wing That Wings would have charged for it. So yes, I think generally, all in all, it's a must kit.
I was going to say, at the end of the day, there's one out there now, isn't there? It's filled a gap.
I would be really,
So,
really surprised if they didn't do the others. And if they don't, I think they've missed something there. Obviously, they'll tell because they know how many they sell.
yeah.
But it's been very popular with us. We've sold out now. I think they're all gone.
Yeah, well, yeah, unless obviously we've got some extras from non-payers, as far as I know. Yeah, we should have sold our allocation that we had in.
Yes.
Also, I think other companies have sold out of them as well. So it's obviously been popular.
Yeah.
You know.
As I say, there's the one there. Say we're out of stock of it, but there you go. I thought you did. You got the pictures down here with how it fits and everything else. So again, they take theirs literally just in here is where the wing room is, because there's the wireless operator station, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's I as I say, if they don't do it, they're either mad or everybody else is mad, and I'm just the one who's right.
One way of putting it.
Yeah, that's it. It's not everybody of the world. You're all mad, but I'm correct because I think it's a really nice idea. And the other one, of course, obviously is the F4E. We've been waiting for the long nose Phantom.
You have.
Oh, all right. Okay, I have. And finally we've got it. And again, it's typical Zucamori. It's one of those kits where it's, if you look at the competition, shall we say, and you look at Hasegawa's is just long in the tooth now. As horrible as it sounds to say it, it's showing its age. It's still a great kit, and I've got multiples around here that I've built with it. I've built multiples of the Academy one now. We've done 2 and things like that. So again, it's one of those where it's the next step up. Again, it's not cheap, but you do get some really nice touches with this one. So fully detailed, absolutely everything that you might imagine. Fully detailed engines, fully detailed intakes that go full distance as well. So there's lots you could do with that actual kit right the way through. The only thing that's slightly disappointing for me is that you don't get the radar and you don't get the gun. I thought it'd been nice to have perhaps a drop on system and it could swing down and show the gun. All you'd have to do is just, a quick job in there and do it. I'm sure Aftermarket might pop along and show it, but that would have been quite nice. But generally, the rest of it is a really, really nice kit. It's Zucamori. Zucamori, if you know, it is one of those things. They make fantastic kits, great detail. The instructions are beautiful. They literally show it from every angle. It's a shame almost they're just in black and white, because I don't think it does them justice. I think if they spent, I know they're getting expensive kits anyway, but if you spent a little bit more and have more of a glossy instructions, that would give you that full-on everything. Because the instructions are incredibly detailed. It shows absolutely everything. It even tells you to cut off the sprue tabs. You get the extra ones.
Yes.
It tells you to cut those all off. Obviously you're going to do it anyway, but it tells you, it says, and don't forget to cut these all off. And it's like, well, I would have done it. I'm not that bad, but yeah. But no, really, really nice. But as I say, it's that thing. We're hoping to see the Wild Weasel one come out, which would be quite nice. Get the G. So, and obviously the F as well would be nice to see as well. And as I say, we know the EJ's out there anyway, but yeah, good go. Nice kit.
It wasn't for all them stencils. I'd actually be tempted, but it's a Phantom and it's got too many decals for my liking, I'm afraid. I was going to say about that's got a comprehensive decal sheet on it.
Well, yeah, you see that in the review. I show it, but like I say in the review, it's that thing. It's a Phantom, so you're going to get it. That's what a Phantom is. I think, if I remember rightly, the stencil count is 386, but it's probably 3 times that, because most stencils, there may be 10 of them, but they're using the same number because it's like no steps. And all of those things, but all it is at the top of the actual sheet, it's got literally just for the colours and the markings. The rest of it, and the sheet's about this big. It's the size of that box, and it's just stencil data. That's all it is. So, but again, it's a Phantom, and if you didn't have stencils over it, it wouldn't be a Phantom.
That's it. Well, that's the other side of it. You're kind of committed when you do an F4 because you've got to put the stencils on. It's like when I did the 72nd Airfix one. I don't like decal at best of times, but I couldn't leave them off either.
No.
You've just got to do it. You've just got to plough on and get it done, haven't you? So
to be honest, the thing is, if you're going to go with one of these, as we know, when they were in theatre in Southeast Asia, they went over them, they sprayed over them, so a lot of them weren't there. But the funny thing is, if you're going to do the Japanese version, the EJs, it's almost part of the camo. The way that, because they always do high contrast. So if it's blue, they'll do the white on top of it. And they stand out, and it looks like a flying book.
Yeah.
It's like a newspaper going past you, you know, because they are literally absolutely covered in it. But it actually is quite endearing because it's what Phantoms are. But if you look at the EJs, they're absolutely covered in them. So, yes.
I'd say it'd be nice if they do like an F or whatever, and then you can go for sort of the Greek or the Turkish ones where they are absolutely. I mean, the Greek ones are just brilliant, aren't they?
Oh, yeah,
they were brilliant. They were just proper hammered. They just looked great.
Yes.
And the RF as well, because that's the one I quite like, the RF Phantoms.
Yeah, that's it. You get the nice squared off front on there. Obviously, they did the marine version as well as the navy version with them and that as well. So yeah.
But obviously, if they'd call that an F4E earlier, then they will obviously be doing an F4E late.
Yes.
Also, just do an F4E, wouldn't they? They wouldn't sort of. So I presume that's coming down the line at some point.
Yeah,
I don't know what
from an external point of view, I don't think there's much difference at all.
I don't know.
They did have that bit on the front of the later versions. They gave up on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's an interesting subject. I think it's a really nice one to do. And obviously they've gone with Betty Lou because it's probably one of the most famous Phantoms out there, so you expect it. But yeah, there's some very nice options out there. The aftermarket guys with decals and that have been doing them forever. And it's a Phantom, so they're going to fit. So you can pretty much do everybody's in there. And looking at the way the box goes, it looks like there's other versions already in the pipework anyway.
Probably.
Because there's a lot of weaponry in there and different fuel tanks, which are for later ones and stuff like that. So, you know, and to be honest, there's, I don't want to do a spoiler, but there's definitely a G coming along because they've got all the jammer pods for it. So for the Wild Weasel one, so it's got the full kit in there, but there you go. So it is coming down the line, but as I say, when that will be, we don't know.
No.
It'll be nice because it continues the nice Phantom family off nicely.
Yes, absolutely.
Cool. Right, should we do some questions? Yes?
Yes, question time.
Question time. Carla says, hi guys, saw on Friday's show, wanted to ask you, you think about having the mugs available at high altitude hobbies in the US next door for members? It would save us on postage. It won't, because the thing is, it will cost me probably $100 or pounds to get it to the US for Brett then to put them out. So it's one of those false economies. It might seem that Brett can get them to you cheaper, but then I've got to get them to Brett. And the thing is with mugs, they are heavy. I know, because it was 66 kilos of mugs. Well, so that's how heavy it was.
Carlos will know about postage to the US from us posting his kits out, which is on today, by the way. They've been picked up today for you. They've literally just gone because I was just watching Leslie dealing with the bloke.
Oh, right. Okay.
Away. So, but yeah, it's that cost thing again, isn't it? Unfortunately, and you know, nice mug.
Hold on, wrong one.
I'm going to say you got wrong side. Wrong show.
Wrong show. So yes, look.
Mine's been commandeered already. I don't think I'll see mine. Can you get me some with Leslie on so I can have mine back?
All right. Do you want me to do something with Leslie on there? Then you can have your mug back. All right. Okay.
Yeah, please. That'd be nice.
So, but yeah, the thing is with mugs, as I say, that'll always be in house with me purely because one, obviously with breakages, getting them stuff like that and replacements, it's just a lot easier for me. But false economy because the thing is, mugs are heavy. So they actually cost a fortune to post as it is. So to send them to Brett and then for Brett to forward them on, you know, as like Matt says, you know what postage is like. It's horrendous at the moment. Okay, Nick says, hi guys. From the 60s group build, I was thinking about my first helicopter. Can you recommend the best Vietnam-based helicopters for a first-time heli builder? I've seen lots of Hueys, but I have no idea which is best. I'm thinking about 1/48 scale, but we'll go with a bigger or smaller one if there's a better choice.
Ooh.
I don't know. Can we get the Dragon one still? All right, I won't bother getting it out then. My Huey collection down there.
No, afraid not. Oh, God.
Yeah.
It's a funny thing, the Huey, isn't it? It's I mean, there's obviously the Kitty Hawk ones out that's not quite a Huey from Vietnam, is it?
No, the trouble with they do a 48 scale one, and I've spoken to them about this because actually it's more like an H than it is the D, and obviously you want the D because the H is post-Vietnam one. It's a little bit thing. So what it was is that apparently Kitty Hawk made a bit of a hybrid out of two kits for some unknown reason. So yeah, that was the trouble with that one. So yes, I would, as I say, you're trying to do it for one of the group builds. Apparently, Kitty Hawk are releasing a 35th scale Huey, which apparently is supposed to be spot on. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, but when's that though?
When is it going to arrive? Yeah, that's the trouble.
And actually, you know, if we ever see it and get it,
yeah,
That's the other problem again, isn't it? I mean, if you're going 48, really, what is the Italeri one?
Yes.
Which is knocking on a bit. I've
Very.
never built it, and I don't know how good it is. I tell you, do some nice little helicopters in 72nd, Hobby Boss. And they do Hueys, and they do a Sea Knight, which was used in Vietnam. Yeah.
Yep.
And I've obviously got my Fujimi one down here, what I was going to do for the turkey shoot, but got gazump with my Lotus. Who else do one? Somebody else do. I mean, there is the old Asagawa one, do one, and the old Esky one. A lot of companies do 72nd. 48th is a bit an odd scale, isn't it? For I think it's just Italeri and obviously the Kitty Hawk one. I can't think of another one.
And obviously, the thing is,
there's been a lot of reboxings.
Yes, but and obviously because it's 60s helicopters, they're a little bit niche.
Chinook, a Chinook,
Yeah, an early Chinook, yeah.
A Jolly Green Giant.
Yeah. If you really want an old super Jolly Green, obviously Revell just released theirs again.
Well, I've got a Fujimi one again, but it's hard to get hold of, I think.
Yeah.
But that's an idea, isn't it? I never thought of that.
There you go. You could do a Jolly Green, yeah.
Oh yeah, I think that. Don't know. I've not really decided. I was thinking of doing the Jag.
The Jag.
Type
do
Jag.
The Revell Jag.
Yes. It's an odd one because there's not many modern tooled kits that I can think of
60s
helicopters.
Yeah.
Even if you're going up to 32nd, they're knocking on. Even you know, I know there's a Revell 32nd one which is old in it, and
the old Huey Hog. It's proper old.
You've got the Academy ones. If you can get them in 35th, haven't you? I don't know what they're like. I've never.
Yeah, so you got the Academy ones, which I've done as well. So you could do the Cobra, the things like that as well. So
they're old Panda kits.
Yeah, I think they're the old kits, though. Yes.
Else's, the problem I can see is not many of them are in production at the minute. So you're going to be hunting like the second-hand shops or eBay or whatever to.
Because to be honest, I'll get mine. Let's get one.
I mean, I think if you're going to 35th. Best one at the minute is that one. It's the Dragon one.
It's the Dragon one in 35th, which is supposed to be the most sort of accurate in 35th scale. I know you're talking about 48th, but there's that one. But again, it's out of production if you can find one. As I say, they tend to come along occasionally. But yeah, so it's very difficult to sort of get hold of them and all the rest of it. They do that kit, obviously that's the German version, but they do the Vietnam one, so you get door gunners, you get the figures with it as well, so that's quite nice.
And tons of aftermarket for it if you want to update it. But I would definitely say that's the best one in 35th. I mean, excuse me, if you go over to the Far East stores, they might have them because it wasn't that long ago released. No. It's not like it's been 10 years, it was released not that long ago. And I actually don't know if it's not doing again. But you never know with Dragon, you see, because it's one of them, like, when I speak to the hobby company, it's like, well, if it turns up, it just seems to just, Dragon stuff turns up, they don't know what they're getting off of the time, so I'm sure there's people out there who get one, but yeah.
But really, because you're saying, like, Vietnam helicopters, usually you do think of Hueys, Cobras, say, Sea Knights, isn't it?
I've just thought of something, actually, a bloody brilliant kit, is the... thingy to the Wessex predecessor.
Oh, the 34 H34.
Yeah, because I've got one, and
yes,
it's the gallery models one, but Trump has just re-released it. I've actually got one here.
Yes,
is an absolutely stonking kit, and they were used widely in both minds of it. One anyway, I'm not going to get it, but it's upstairs, and that is brilliant. You get a full engine, you get a full cabin, you get a full cockpit. There's aftermarket. You need seat belts, but there's aftermarket seat belts for it, and they do about 4 different versions, and two of them for definitely cover Vietnam.
Yes, yeah. So it's the H34. That's the one.
It is, and I think it comes with a mass set for the canopy.
Yeah, you get a basket. Okay, Paul says, hi Phil and Matt, do you think ICM will release the 148 scale B26?
Yes.
Counter Invader model?
Yeah, yes. It's down on their thing to be released, the Counter Invader. So yes, because that can be cut for Vietnam as well, won't it?
Yeah, yeah.
So yes, as far as I know, yeah, they are doing it. They're doing them all. The Pacific one is out at the minute, and that one's next. So that'll be good.
Chris says, hi Phil and Matt, many thanks. Parcel with tools arrived yesterday, only 13 days to Oz. My mother sent 2 articles over a month ago and haven't arrived yet. Go figure. That's because they see the PM logo and think we better prioritize that.
Yeah, prioritize it. Yeah.
Ian says, hi Phil and Matt, could I ask if you plan to place a pre-order for the models of the HH60H, a lot of H's there, and the MH60R kit numbers respectively? They are both being released this month. Sorry. Yes, well, we will get them in, and we have now got a source, haven't we, for Kitty Hawk. So as I said before, mine turned up the other day. I must have put mine in my stash now. And I'm going to be doing mine later in the year, but hopefully that will be technically a stock item. So as soon as they are released and they are with our distributor, then we can get them in. So a bit like we've just got all the others in, it'll be the same thing. As and when they turn up is a different matter. That's the only thing, because obviously we seem to be the last in the queue, isn't it, when it comes to getting kits over and stuff like that.
But yeah, we will get them in and stuff. But obviously, at the minute, we wait till they're released and we know what with them, and then we'll probably do like what we're doing with the other one, because it's quite an expensive kit. And as long as we can get them, we'll just keep a rolling sort of tab going, because we do order from said company quite a bit. So we'll just tag them onto orders, and and again with the bigger stuff as well, the 30-second stuff, like we've said before, it's not something to keep on the shelves, because obviously it's just money tied up where it could be invested. But we don't mind getting them in by any stretch. If obviously they're in stock at our suppliers,
yes,
we'll order them in. We'll gladly tag them onto an order. Obviously there's just going to be a lead time on them, but if you're happy just to, if you can wait, obviously hopefully after Christmas as well, we'll get back to a bit of normality with posting again for times. We can definitely do that. And this is again with what we want to develop with the site as well, which is when Andy's on board to look into and stuff. So again, you'll hear more about this hopefully in the new year when we know.
Definitely.
When we get told.
Yes, that's it. He says, also, I think you agree that it's amazing release schedule of the 35th Hawks in the best of times of the global pandemic. I think, Ian, a lot of people would disagree with you, Kitty Hawk, seeing as they seem to have got the Hawks all out, but didn't get any other kits that they promised, like the Frogfoot, which everybody seems to be jumping up and down for, and a few other things. So it's like, how comes you sort of sidestep them? But there you go. Christmas greetings to you and all Flory and PM Towers from his shed in West Cornwall. Let's hope 21 is far better year. Well, we did say it can't get any worse, but it seems we said that last year of Brexit, and then look what happened with COVID. So we don't say things like that anymore. We're
not saying anything.
No. Rob says, Matt, thinking of the new year, but can you get the 1/16 scale Tamiya Kubelwagen kit anymore?
No.
No, we've spoken to the man from Del Monte.
Yeah, I spoke to my man this morning, and he says as far as he knows it's discontinued. So I will ask him again tomorrow, because he was driving at the time, so he couldn't technically check.
Yeah.
But we think it has been discontinued, and we're not able to get it. But I'll definitely ask again tomorrow and have a definitive answer for tomorrow night.
Yeah. He also says that he's got a pre-order for an Ocean Hawk, but he hasn't seen an invoice yet, because we haven't had them in yet. As soon as they're in.
Yeah, as soon as they're in, Andy will send you an invoice.
Yeah.
And they are on the way. They'll probably be here tomorrow or Friday, all being well. Yes. So Andy will invoice you, and then I'll get it out posted. I'll get it in the post.
Out to you forthwith.
Yes.
Thanks for this year. Absolutely. Andy says, hi guys, long time no speak. Do you know of the best mini kit that represents either a Mark 1 or a Mark 2? I've been looking around but can't find much at all. Right.
So Tamiya, if you can find that, did a Mark 1 mini, because Nathan built one for the film SIG a few years ago, when we did the Italian job. As far as I know, it's not available anymore, but you can get it from, usual places if you look around. Also, I'm pretty sure Revell did a mini.
Again, they did, didn't they?
Now. Yeah, these are 24th scale.
Yeah.
The problem you've got is, I think, again, Mini is now owned by BMW, and we've got that sort of scenario going on again, where I think before it was like an Austin Mini, and yeah. So that's why I think Tamiya could do one or whatever. And I know Fujimi do a mini, and we have some coming in because I forgot. We have got some minis coming in, some Mini Cooper S's by Fujimi in the new year, which are pre-ordered through Gary.
Right. Okay.
So if you could hang on.
Yeah, I was going to say hold fire, and we'll see you about those.
We'll have the Fujimi one, which again, looking at the Porsches and stuff, will be fantastic.
Yeah. Cool.
But yeah, I'm still thinking, didn't he? No, we didn't, did we? I'm just thinking on the auctions, because I know, like, Nathan's obsessed with 500 little micro cars he's likes, and bloody Trabants and all sorts of stuff. But I think his was a newer Mini, not an old Mini, that he auctioned off, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. It was the newer one. I think he auctioned off, didn't he?
But I'm pretty sure they've done an old one, a Mark 1. Anyway.
I'm sure they did. Didn't they do it in a blue? It was on the boxing, it was blue.
Could have been, yeah. It could have been.
Yeah. It says, also, I just wanted to say cheers for the amazing turnaround on my order on Monday. Here we go. And last up, we've got Dan, who's just put this one in. Hi, guys. I'm looking on the Hitaka website earlier. I noticed that they're doing a bigger bottle of their clear coat, 60ml. I think it was. Is this something you might get in the future? I quite like their satin coat. I use it regular.
If our supplier stocks it, we'll stock it. Simple as that, really. It's we're kind of tied up because we don't deal with Attacker direct. We deal with the UK distributor, you see. So it's whether they get it or not.
Yes.
But I think they probably will, because I know they do sell a lot of the clear coats, because they're quite good actually, the clear coats, aren't they?
Yes, they are. Very good. And there we go. That's questions today. So just to finish up, I don't know if you guys saw it, but yesterday I did hold on, let me just bring up my site. Where are we? Yesterday, you might have noticed, if this comes on, there we go. I did a little thing about tools. It was a 1 hour show yesterday, as well as your questions and all the rest of it. So I looked at the new Master Tools set, which is their Razor ones, which are these, which are actually, I have to say, considering they look cheap, nasty and crap, they do work. Weirdly, that's the thing. It's one of those things, it doesn't look like it's any good. It looks like a bit of cheap tat, but actually it works fantastic. So that was it. And then also we went through, as you can see down in here, and I did a thing on cutters. Yep. And I have to say, and I've been using them today, they actually work really well. So yeah, it's one of those ones, again, when you're talking for the price point and everything else, and I do go through them and show the differences between the cheap ones and God hands, because I put it up against them. There's nothing really in it. That's to face it. You know, the God hands ones, like I said, they're very fragile. You have to be careful what you're doing with them anyway. But when you put them up against the Display ones, and obviously we put them up against the Mr. Hobby ones, so you know I was calling them Hobby Boss, and everything else. I did put a disclaimer on. But yeah, you can, it, you know, really is good value. And I think as well for the money, it's very much worth it. And the last thing as well, we looked at the punch set, which is hot. And yeah. Again, one of those tools for the money, I think, really, really good. But anyway, we have got those. They are up onto the site in the tool section down in here as well. And again, we've got restocked, because I noticed we're out of stock of the nippers. Typical. So, but we have got new stocks coming in. So
yeah, we have.
Not a problem with that one, but as I say, they're all down in here. You've got the punch set down in there, and there's that thing. But for £8.50 for the razor saw, if you haven't got a razor saw, get that one, because for the money, it's brilliant and it works very, very well. The punch set, 16 quid, a little bit more expensive. One of those things you're probably not going to use every day of your life, but it's a handy tool to have, so that's quite good. But honestly, my thing really, 16 quid for the cutters, which I've done with them, I've moved them. I've had a tidy up wherever they've gone. Here we are. But they are really, really good. You know, no problem at all. I think it's one of those things where they just, it works very, very well. And really, if you do put them up against like Display ones and everybody else's, they just work, you know.
I know Nathan mentioned it last week, because he's been using them. He's had his, hello, Mole.
No, stay there.
Nathan's had his for a month or so, and he's been using them pretty much for what he's been building. And he says, you know, they are different to the God hand ones, but then like the price point is massively different.
Well,
so,
this is it, yeah.
You know, you pay money, take a choice sort of scenario, isn't it? But yeah, we are in a restock of obviously scrapers and obviously snips and, you know, usual stuff that we sell out of a lot. So the only thing we won't be restocking for a while will be the drills.
Because they're out.
We can't get on.
I think we wiped everybody out.
Yes, we did. We wiped them out. So, but yeah, no. apart from that, all good.
Cool. There we go. Right, that is us. Just last thing to say is that we will be having an auction, the actual PM auction, which will be between Christmas and New Year. So we'll be doing that on Wednesday the 30th. Obviously, Andy will be putting up full details of that as we get a little bit closer to it. But it's going to be 7 p.m. So if you want to join us for a giggle, maybe put in some bids, some various bits and pieces, we're going to be doing that one as well. So we'll talk about it a little bit more, obviously, tomorrow night as we make a little way closer to it. But it's going to be on Wednesday the 30th. Of December as well, so in between Christmas and New Year. So when you're stuffed on mince pies and want to get away from the family,
I could say sick of the family, but
then if you want to join us, we'd love to have you along for that one for an evening of fun and frolics, and maybe get a bargain or two. So that's the plan with that one. We'll be back on with you tomorrow night as well. Live show, don't forget, we've got a live show with you 7:30. This little review will be up with you tomorrow. Chances are I'm not going to get a chance to do it today, but I will get that up with you tomorrow as well. So if you want to catch that one, you can see all about that lovely kit as well as make our way through. And there we go.
Yep.
Cool. Right, if we're all done, we'll say goodbye then. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next week. If we don't see you before, have fun, stay safe, and take care. Bye.
Bye.